is why a narcissist's world crashes and disintegrates when you're away. Hello, beautiful souls, and welcome back to another enlightening journey of self-discovery. Before delving into today's captivating topic, I extend a warm invitation to join our community by hitting the subscribe button and tapping the follow button to stay connected with us on this empowering path. In today's discussion, we're delving into the aftermath of parting ways with a narcissist. Yes, the journey of healing begins as soon as you walk away. So, are you prepared to unveil the truths behind this transformative journey? Let's dive straight in. At this juncture, the breakup has occurred. Regardless of who initiated it, whether you or the narcissist, the reality remains that you're no longer in the picture. Most likely, as mentioned earlier, you've reclaimed control of your life and swiftly exited the situation. Now that you've departed, let's discuss the aftermath with the character you've left behind. So, where do we begin? Brace yourself for the unfolding drama, as here's how it's likely to unfold, ensuring you're prepared for what lies ahead. If you've experienced this scenario, you've probably encountered the so-called flying monkeys and others still associated with the narcissist. Here's how the drama unfolds. Now that you've departed, those close to the narcissist have witnessed this scenario play out before, but they won't divulge the truth, particularly family members. They're unlikely to acknowledge that they'd witnessed others like you leave in the past, and yet the same narrative repeats itself each time. It's a truth they won't disclose. So, the narcissist has their strategy set in motion. They've already begun tarnishing your reputation even before the breakup occurred. The smear campaign is in full swing. Now that you've departed, the narcissist turns to their support network, weaving a narrative to suit their agenda. Let's imagine how a female narcissist might articulate her grievances. Speaking from her perspective, she might assert, "I always had my doubts about her stability from the outset. I warned you about her controlling tendencies, how she insisted on having things her way. She tried to dictate who I could spend time with, especially my lifelong friends. She constantly monitored my interactions and activities. I'm an independent woman." Likewise, for men, the rhetoric might echo similar sentiments. She disapproved of my friendships with other women. She harbored suspicions, accusing me of infidelity or deceit. She demanded excessive control. This is the narrative they disseminate to their allies. It's the tale they spin to anyone who will lend an ear. This is their version of events. Those who heed their words become complicit in the drama. As one member of our circle astutely remarked, "I must confess, it did amuse me." However, let's refocus. This is where the theatrics commence. Yet, remember, this isn't new territory for them. They're adept at this game. They initiated the character assassination long before the breakup. They're selective about their audience, targeting individuals they anticipate will amplify their narrative once you're no longer in the picture. These are the same individuals who harbored reservations about you from the very beginning. Their demeanor and treatment towards you betrayed their underlying sentiments. Initially, they appeared amiable and showered you with praise, remarking, "She's so kind, intelligent, and beautiful." However, as fissures emerged in your relationship with the narcissist, you began to detect incongruities. They sought out those with preconceived notions about you, asserting, "She's attractive, she's well educated." For men, the narrative echoed a similar tune. They engaged in conversations, sowing seeds of doubt about you, systematically eroding your character long before severing ties. They had already tainted others' perceptions of you. If you extended invitations, they would fabricate excuses like, "Apologies, we have prior commitments," when in reality they were simply avoiding you. The narcissist have fed them a narrative tailored to their desires. Remember, a narcissist orchestrates every detail meticulously. Now let's discuss the aftermath. They had already begun spreading malicious gossip about you prior to the breakup. Following the separation, they intensified their smear campaign. They revisited individuals they had previously engaged with, perhaps a sibling or a parent, anyone receptive to their falsehoods. They targeted anyone willing to lend an ear. They were adept at discerning whom to approach, recognizing those who harbored disdain towards you from the outset. They understood that their relationship with you was unsustainable, and now the repercussions ensue. So, who will shoulder their financial burdens now? Who will attend to their culinary needs? Who will bridge the monetary chasms they left behind? In truth, they scarcely contributed, yet you made allowances out of affection. I understand. I've traversed similar terrain. They're merely envious detractors, plain and simple. Thus, the narcissist turns to these detractors to perpetuate their chariot. But wait, it gets even worse. The smear campaign doesn't stop there. Who's going to play the role of their new sugar daddy or mommy now? They have to rely on their fresh supply, their not-so-great new supply. Yes, I said it, and I mean it. The new supply can't even come close to providing what you could. And here's the thing. The narcissist always believes the grass is greener on the other side. But as they're soon going to realize, that grass isn't always as lush once they get there. If only they had taken better care of the lawn they already had. But let's face it, they're not capable of that. They lack the skills because, let's be honest, they're selectively ignorant. Yes, I said it, and I stand by it. They can't think logically. And when you're dealing with someone who can't reason, well, you're dealing with a fool, plain and simple. Now that you're out of the picture, you've taken back control, my friend. You're no longer in the equation. Now the narcissist has to rely on their entourage, their minions, who are now picking up the tab, preparing the meals. Now you're receiving calls from these minions because they're attempting to lure you back to the narcissist. They're engaging in what's known as proxy hoovering. They'll say things like, "Hey, how are you? You know, he or she told us about the situation, and we think maybe you too should talk things out, try to reconcile. It's a shame to just let it all go. Think about the children. Take a few days to cool off, and then maybe give it another shot. Take a few days. Seriously, return to that chaos." No way. You might be hurting immensely right now, feeling like a part of your soul has been torn away. But let me tell you, it's better to endure that pain now than to even consider going back. Here's the truth. Now that you're moving forward, the true suffering begins. Because guess what? The new supply isn't measuring up. They can't fulfill the narcissist's needs like you could. And why is that? Because the moment you exited the scene, they lost their appeal. They were a blast to be around when you were in the spotlight, doing everything for the narcissist. While you were putting in all the effort to keep things running smoothly, they were out enjoying themselves. Most of the time, these individuals don't even have a real job, and if they do, it's nothing remarkable. You were carrying the entire load while they were off gallivanting, returning home with a smile as if they hadn't a care in the world. Now, my friend, it's time to confront the aftermath. Because the crew and all those associates have to step up to cover the gaps you left behind. So yes, prepare yourself for those calls. Or perhaps you've already received them, suggesting it's time to talk things through. And you know what? If you receive that call while watching this, set the record straight. Listen, I've reached a point where I won't engage in discussions with someone who never truly cared about me. Let's be honest, they never really gave a damn about you. They knew you were dealing with chaos, a complete mess, and they didn't lift a finger to assist. Why entertain someone like that? Now they're just trying to alleviate their own burden and dump it back onto you. No, thank you. I've reclaimed control of my life, and I'm moving onward. They can handle that chaos themselves. Let them deal with it, just like they did before you entered the picture. Because now that you've moved forward, the tables have turned. Let them confront their own mess. Let them face the repercussions of their actions. Now that you've stepped out of the pain zone, stay out. It's all part of the strategy, remember. Elevate your energy, trust your instincts, crank it up to the maximum. That's the only way to steer clear of these individuals. They're not in your corner, keep that in mind. Now that you've moved on, the hardship begins for them. Let them drown in it with their pals and their new distractions. It's a done deal. Before we wrap things up, remember to stay blessed and keep your chin up. I'll catch you in the next one. And hey, if you enjoy what we're creating and want to support us, consider chipping in as little as $1 on our Ko-Fi page. Every contribution, regardless of size, goes a long way in helping us maintain and enhance the quality of our content. As a special thank you to those who choose to become members, your name will be featured at the start of our videos, showing our gratitude for your generous support. Your backing enables us to keep delivering the content you cherish, and we're incredibly grateful for your vital role in our community. Find the link in the description below and become a valued member of our journey. Drop a like, share your thoughts in the comments if you believe it could benefit someone else. Don't hesitate, spread the word. And if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button to stay tuned for more. Your support means everything, and we'll continue bringing you top-notch content. Stay resilient, folks. Until next time, take care. That's all for now. Hello everyone. Thank you for joining us for this captivating discussion. Today, we're diving into the intriguing realm of surprising actions that catch narcissists off guard. If you're enjoying the content, don't hesitate to express your support by liking, subscribing, and sharing. However, the spotlight of this video shines on a particular action that typically leaves them astounded. But before we unravel that, let's take a moment to reflect on your encounters with narcissists and their impact on your life. What kind of dynamic did you experience, and how has it influenced your journey? Often, engaging with a narcissistic individual occurs without recognizing the telltale signs, driven by a lack of awareness or understanding of narcissism. It's easy to attribute relationship challenges to merely enduring a rough patch, perhaps attributing the issues to the individual's personal struggles or their mistreatment of you. Yet, the notion of narcissism might not have crossed your mind. Despite this, you persisted in investing your time, energy, and emotions into the relationship. As previously discussed, your unwavering commitment to the relationship led to a gradual erosion of various facets of your life: your time, finances, social connections, and even your well-being. Essentially, you poured yourself into a relationship that yielded little in return, leaving you depleted. Meanwhile, the narcissist actively sabotaged your efforts, akin to puncturing holes in a canoe while you navigated against the current. Their objective? To ensure your vessel sank while they smoothly transitioned to the next target in line. The intricate dance of narcissistic abuse is a labyrinth of manipulative strategies, all meticulously crafted to exploit your innate kindness and compassion. While you extended your hand in generosity, the narcissist eagerly grasped, leaving behind a trail of devastation. It's imperative to grasp the fundamental disparity between your mindset and that of the narcissist. They dwell in a realm devoid of introspection and accountability, opting instead to feed off others until they are drained, then callously discarding them. One must recognize that the next target in the narcissist's crosshairs often arrives swiftly, clad in the guise of a fresh face. Just as they once sought solace in your presence as the new source of supply, they will inevitably gravitate towards another unsuspecting soul once your reserves have been exhausted. Whether it's a rekindled acquaintance, a resurrected flame, or an entirely novel individual, the pattern remains unchanged. Exploit, discard, and move on to the next conquest. A multitude of factors converge to sustain the vicious cycle of narcissistic abuse. It's paramount to acknowledge that this cycle persists relentlessly, with the narcissist serving as the unwavering focal point. They are keenly aware of the psychological web they weave, acknowledging the suffocating aura of anxiety that envelops their existence. Armed with their chameleon-like abilities, they don masks of deception, driven by sporadic impulses to assert dominance. Living with a narcissist is akin to traversing a maze between Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, where every twist and turn brings uncertainty and emotional turmoil. Victims find themselves on a relentless roller coaster ride, never quite sure of the true nature of their relationship. So when faced with the cold shoulder or verbal onslaught from their partner, where does one seek solace? Many turn to the vast expanse of the internet, hoping to glean rare pearls of wisdom amidst the overwhelming sea of information. This marks the genesis of a transformative journey towards self-discovery and enlightenment about narcissism. The narcissist, caught off guard by the victim's burgeoning awareness, never anticipated such scrutiny. Having meticulously assessed their prey's desires, strengths, and vulnerabilities at the relationship's inception, they crafted a carefully curated image to ensnare their target. Viewing the victim as little more than a pawn to satisfy their ceaseless hunger for validation and dominance, the narcissist skillfully weaves a facade of charm to cloak their true intentions. As the victim unwittingly succumbs to the narcissist's manipulations, their vitality and resources dwindle, leading to eventual abandonment once their utility wanes. This cyclical pattern is all too familiar to the narcissist, who effortlessly moves on to the next unsuspecting victim, leaving behind a wake of shattered connections. In the aftermath of it all, the narcissist never imagined your resilience in piecing yourself back together. Take a moment to replay this crucial segment of the video in your mind. They were fully aware of the harm inflicted upon you, deliberately subjecting you to abuse on a daily, weekly, monthly, yearly, or even decadal basis. They knew that eventually something would give. Either you'd break free or they'd discard you. Alternatively, you could remain trapped in the zombie-like grip of narcissistic manipulation. If you've endured this, share your reflections below. Your identity became entangled with theirs. You felt drained and defeated, each day sapping your energy further. The narcissist never banked on your resilience, your ability to confront narcissism head-on, to embrace radical acceptance, and to recognize your inherent abundance, beauty, and inner radiance, qualities sorely lacking in the narcissist. They ensnared you through deceit, manipulation, and coercion, convincing you of your dependence on them. A byproduct of the trauma bond that kept you tethered, oscillating between moments of euphoria and despair like a turbulent emotional roller coaster. This perpetual instability denied you solid footing. Reaching out to the narcissist via call, text, or email was like navigating a minefield, leaving you devoid of stability and unsure of what version of them you'd encounter. The narcissist skillfully disrupted your sense of balance to reinforce the trauma bond, catching you off guard and making it incredibly difficult to break free. Since narcissism isn't commonly taught in academic settings, you were blindsided by this bond, struggling to grasp why everything felt like it was spinning out of control, leaving you consumed by thoughts of the narcissist day and night. Sound familiar? Share your stories. Your attempts to please were met with devaluation. You became an unpaid servant, a perpetual apologist, a never-ending checklist, lost in the narcissistic fog or ensnared by the trauma bond. Unbeknownst to you, you deserved far better, but were intentionally kept in the dark about your own value. Once in their grasp, they further diminished your worth, their interest waned, and they grew tired of you. The initial thrill of pursuit faded once they had you. You became merely a possession, akin to a doll on a shelf, waiting to be used, manipulated, or exploited for resources. They would disappear for hours, days, or weekends, leaving you puzzled. Were they seeking a replacement or tapping into other sources? These alternative sources could be friends, social circles, travel, possessions, or anything else of value. While romantic partners or friends are typical sources of narcissistic supply, it could also come from family members or siblings. Nonetheless, they never foresaw your resilience, your knack for identifying narcissism, comprehending its ramifications, and recognizing the imperative to break free. If you've endured being cast aside, my heart sympathizes with you. Even if you initiated the breakup, the burden of toxicity is burdensome. You've weathered the relentless storm of narcissistic mistreatment. You're akin to a solitary needle in a vast haystack, yet that needle holds the key to your emancipation. The narcissist never desired for you to grasp comprehension, to heal, to liberate yourself. They thrive on deceit, donning masks to entrap their victims in a hypnotic trance. But you've broken the chains. You're embarked on a voyage of healing, evolution, and perchance even enlightenment for others. You're awakening to your inherent value, prioritizing yourself over the narcissist's treacherous snare. You've turned the key, escaped the fog of narcissism, and taken decisive actions, implementing no contact, blocking, deleting, to sever all ties to their venomous influence. Now, absorb this revelation. Your narcissistic partner never aspired for closure. They lack the capacity for introspection, accountability, or accepting culpability, impeding their ability to furnish closure. Believing themselves faultless, they evade responsibility for their daily transgressions, propelled by their narcissistic ethos. Despite their continual involvement in an abusive cycle, they stand as the singular constant therein. Their objective is to ensnare and manipulate individuals into relationships, only to ruthlessly discard them afterward. Consequently, narcissists maintain few enduring friendships or relationships. Their offspring often distance themselves upon realizing they've endured abuse. Crafty manipulation is their trademark, yet their victim narrative wears thin. Nevertheless, survivors discover solace and restoration, acknowledging the near devastation wrought by their relationships. Narcissists consistently falter in relationships, past, present, and future, perpetually chasing new wellsprings of validation, aware that contentment eludes them. The narcissist never envisioned your recovery. They underestimated your capacity to mend post-relationship, especially amid trials like a pandemic, surgeries, financial strain, and isolation, exacerbated by their smear campaigns that dismantle your support system. Their abrupt vanishing post-discard betrays their aversion to introspection or accountability. If you've reached this juncture, commend yourself. You've embarked on a voyage of self-discovery, evolution, and restoration. Remember, you merit love, esteem, and joy. You are deserving, complete, and sufficient. Keep forging ahead, one step at a time, toward a brighter,